All right, so we are going to take our 6-inch chocolate cakes and we are just going to cut them in half as even as possible. I'm taking my ruler and marking my middle and just making sure that I am trying to get them as centered as possible. I was a little off on some of them, but I did that to both of my cakes. And now I'm taking my fondant that I mixed with modeling chocolate and I'm going to roll this out, and this is going to be my taco shell. And what I'm going to do is take the bottom of my springform pan and put that on top of it and cut the taco shell out. So after doing that, you're of course going to want to straighten up your edges, just get the rough edges off and just make it look very, very pretty and nice and neat. But not all taco shells are nice and neat, so a little bit of unevenness is okay. And I folded it in half, and then I decided I'm going to make my taco meat first. I am just brushing some of the cornstarch off and I moved it out of the frame. So now I'm taking my cereal, and I thought it was like Cocoa Krispies, but it's more like the Fruity Pebbles with the chocolate version. I'm taking some of the cake scraps that I saved from the cake and I'm mixing that in with the cereal, and that is some chocolate frosting, and I had to move it to a bigger bowl. And I just kept mixing it up. It still looked a little dry, and I would add some more chocolate frosting to it. And it really came together, and it really began to look like taco meat and some sort of ground meat. And I said, I'm going to remember this for a hamburger cake. So now I'm standing my cake in the middle of the taco shell, and I'm just putting some chocolate frosting on the side. I'm not going too heavy on it. This cake is very rich, and there's a lot of stuff going on with this cake. So now what I'm going to do is this taco meat mixture is actually really kind of pliable. So, cause it's kind of like a cake pops with cereal shoved in it basically. And I'm just molding it and sticking it all to the top of the cake. You want to put some on the ends. I actually found this to be the easier way to do it. It was with it standing up. I did it laying down and I had a really hard time. So then you're going to want to pull your taco shell up. I could not find my fondant smoother, but I said, you know what, it's okay. A little roughness is fine because taco shells are not smooth anyway. So once you're happy with it, you can just put it on your cake board. I had mine like laying down type thing. So yeah, now you got to do that 4 times. Well, that's what I did. You don't have to do 4. So now I'm getting my candy. These are Brock's Cherry Hearts. I got these at Valentine's Day, and I'm just rolling them out as thin as you want to get it. If you want to have them thicker, that's fine. I'm just kind of pounding, you know, because like I said, not all tomatoes are cut evenly. And I'm just taking a really sharp knife and I'm cutting it. Your knife will get gummy. And what I was doing was I would just take a nice hot rag and wipe it off and then dry it off really, really good. It didn't help. It was very humid. Now I'm taking dots, and I was really hoping that was the only box that we had. My son had gotten into them. I was really hoping we had more of the green and yellow because I was going to use them as banana peppers and jalapenos. The next thing I have is Tootsie Roll makes these fruity, they're called fruit rolls, and I just mix them all together into one big ball, and I'm going to make this my lettuce. Again, the heat and the humidity, it was raining, and it's not like that hot, and my husband won't turn on AC because it's not that hot. It was just very humid and sticky. And we all know that any type of fondant, candy, things like that, it does not mix with the humidity. So I was having troubles with that. I did put some texture on my candy to make it look more like a tomato, but as I was stretching it and as it sat, the imprints came out of it. And it did get very, very sticky, and it was sticking together, so I had to re-roll it eventually anyway, and then I just cut it as I went along. So now I'm taking some licorice and making my black olives. The caramel creams I did try, but they did not work. So now I'm taking my vanilla buttercream, and this is my sour cream, and I'm just doing little squiggles to make it really super cute. I was thinking of even taking like a red chocolate ganache or something and making it like a hot sauce, but I was like, I ain't got time for all that. So what I found easier was actually taking the lettuce and cutting it out as I go. And then what I did was I took one of my maple leaf embossers, like it gives it like really good details. There it is on the screen now, and just putting the little strips, and it came out looking so much like lettuce. It was insane. And I was like, oh yeah, but again, because of the heat, by the end of the night, the detail had fallen out. So I should have probably just did it with fondant, but oh my gosh, it did look so good. But I was happy with it. I was fine with it. But it still came out really, really cute, and I enjoyed making the little lettuce. I think that was like one of my favorite parts because of the detail. I just wish it had stayed in. All right, once you have your lettuce where you have it and where you like it, now I'm just taking the rest of my candies and just putting them on the cake. You can put them wherever you want, do however you want with it. Right now I was putting on the little yellow candies that look like banana peppers, and then I put on the other little green cut up dot to look like jalapenos, and then I did the tomatoes and the black olives. And it really started to come together, and it started looking so, so cute. Alright, so now I am taking some cocoa powder, and I'm just kind of adding some darkened areas. You know, like usually around a taco shell, the top of it's a little toasty, so it's a little darker than most of the cake. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just adding some color and some detail. I did get some like chocolate on the cake for when I was handling the meat, and I wasn't even worried because I knew I was doing this. But it's just giving like a little bit of detail, kind of separating each taco from one another. Just make sure you get the insides and the edges that are laying up against the other taco. So yeah, that's all you have to do. And this was the finished cake, but silly me forgot one important thing. One of my favorite parts of a cake, or of a real taco, the cheese. I had everything packed up and cleaned up, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot the cheese. So I rolled out some orange fondant, and I took a square cutter. I didn't know how many I would need, so I was like, well, we'll do one for each taco, because you can't never have enough cheese, right? So I just took my little clay cutter, and I cut little strips. I cut those squares in half, and then I went ahead and cut the little pieces. You see me there, I'm cutting the square, and you can either do it long ways or the short ways. And as you see, the cake is already in the box, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot the cheese. But I forgot the cheese, but I added it, I made it right, and didn't take too long. And then you have a finished taco cake.